2010, I was going nowhere. I was involved with guys that were selling drugs, not just, petty drugs, really moving a lot of drugs, and I was being tempted to go that way. I was tempted to even, kill someone for money, and something kept stopping me. I didn't know it then, but Jesus Christ was watching over my life. I woke up this particular morning. I remember I did something really horrible the night prior, and I remember just waking up at a really low point the following morning, and I woke up at a friend of mine's girlfriend's place, and her mom was a Christian, and I don't remember this lady's name. I don't even remember what she looked like, but this particular morning, she pulled me to the side and she asked me if I went to church, and I told her, lady, I don't go to church. I got no reason to go to church. I got no reason being in the church. I got no point being there. And then she asked me, if I had problems, and I was like, who doesn't? I got some serious problems. And then she asked me, well, what are you doing about it? How are you fixing your problems? And I remember really thinking to myself, and I had to admit the truth, and I was like, I'm not really fixing my problems. Things aren't really working out for me. And this particular day, this lady goes, hey, you ever think about that if God were real, that God is the only one who can truly see your heart. God is the only one who can truly fix your problems, because he knows exactly what's going on at the core of you, And I remember thinking to myself, that made more sense than anything else ever had made, and in my entire life. And, and I remember 2 nights later, I was laying in my bed and I was crying my eyes out, just crying my eyes out. And I remember the words that this lady said, and, she was telling me about Jesus. And I remember thinking, well, God, I got nowhere else to turn. I got nowhere else to go. This is it for me, And it was at this moment, when I was crying, that God basically gave me a glimpse of my future. And he was like, look, well, you're either going to be dead or you're going to be in prison for a very long time if you keep walking down this road you're walking down. And it was at that moment that I just reached out to God, and I accepted Jesus Christ, and I asked him to forgive me, and I invited him into my heart. And I told God right there at that moment, I said, I'm sold out for you, God. I'm going to live for you wholeheartedly. And it was like, it was the coolest thing ever happened. I mean, that could have ever happened. It was at that moment that I felt like a weight was just lifted. It was like I just knew at a moment that everything was going to be all right. And I remember waking up the following morning and I thought, maybe I had a moment, and but it really wasn't, because when I woke up the next day, I didn't want to do drugs anymore. I didn't want to drink anymore. I didn't want to chase women anymore. I didn't want to go to bars. I didn't want to get into fights. I didn't want to hold on to all that anger and all that hate. And that following Sunday, I was in church, and I haven't looked back ever since. And remember, a month later, God told me, hey, I want you to give up your friends. I want you to give up, that part of your life. And I was like, well, God, I love these guys. And he was like, well, if you truly love them, you'll follow me and I'll show you how to truly love them. And I remember just giving them up. And I really didn't give them up. It was more like just me. I kept coming to church and they didn't want to come to church, So I realized, following Jesus, that, if I truly love these guys, if I truly love my family, I was going to live my life for God. And in that, I was going to show them the right way to live, and that's only for Jesus Christ.